Okay, we're back. Now we're gonna do the tomatillo sauce. So with this, the first thing I like to do is go ahead and put, this is about a cup of cilantro. I like to get that down in there so it gets blended up well. And then I'm gonna do the other half of that lime that we used from earlier. Again, this is something that you can do to taste after the sauce is already mixed up. You can always add more lime. It's just like anything, you can't take it back out, so that's a good half a lime there. We're gonna put in our tomatillos. And they haven't burst, but they're super juicy after roasting them. And then I'm also going to grab some of this red onion and some of the roasted garlic that we want to get in there. And I'm going to go ahead and do a serrano for this one, just to change it up. I'm doing one serrano. Same thing. You can always add more or reduce the amount of peppers, especially if you don't like spicy things. I tend to like my things on the spicier side, so I usually like more. So now that we've got all of that red pepper in there and the rest of our roasted garlic, we're going to move on to the avocados. So we're going to go with that. Now with the avocado, all I'm going to do, we're going to cut this in half by just cutting around the outside like that. We're going to just take the end of the knife and kind of give that seed a tap and break that loose and take it right out. So then we'll get that off the blade. Do the same with the other avocado. We're just spinning it around just like that. Be real careful. Again, end of the knife, just give it a tap and then turn it to the side. That should just break right loose, especially if the avocado is to the right ripeness. Then what I'll tend to do is maybe score it a couple times, do this on a cutting board to be safe, or a plate. You're not going all the way through, you're just scoring it. And then we're going to use a spoon to scoop that out, and we'll just put that right into the mixer with everything else. There's one half. So, and this is going to be a total of 2 avocados. Again, if you just really like avocados that much and want to go crazy, feel free to add 3. It's just going to make it a little bit more on the creamier consistency, which is not a bad thing. And again, this is from the same batch that I roasted the other salsa from. So the tomatillos and the tomatoes and everything have a nice, kind of a smoky taste to them, kind of a grilled taste. Now in here I've got, this is about a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We've got a tablespoon of salt, just like the other salsa. And we've got about a 1.5 tablespoons of ground garlic. And that's it. So from here, we're gonna blend this up and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, we're back. We got everything blended, but I did forget and wanted to show you, this is what the tomatillos look like. So it's got this little outer husk to it. You just wanna peel that away and then discard that. You just pull it right off the top, it comes right off. I'm gonna give this a quick wash and then I'm gonna add that into the tomatillo sauce, again like I did with the salsa, so it gives it a little bit more texture to it. Everything's blended up. We're gonna go ahead and pour this into our other container, just so you can kind of see the consistency. It's almost kind of creamy, especially with the avocado. It really helps with that. And then I'll give you an overhead view. If for some reason you add too much salt, you can go back and add a little bit of lime, and the lime will cut the taste of the salt with the acidity. Comes in handy. I've had to do it. But again, like I said with a salsa, always try to maybe hold back a little bit on the salt until the very end, because especially after it's sat for a day, everything comes together and it will definitely change flavor on you, kind of richen up a little bit. So you can always add more salt. It's really difficult to go back, and especially if you've used all your tomatoes maybe, or whatever, to try to cut the salt taste, or you run out of limes. It's always easier to add more salt and more garlic powder for that matter. So always go maybe a little bit more conservative, especially if you're using fewer tomatoes or tomatillos. So that's the final product.